In today's show, we have another of our popular Dynamite Conspiracy episodes where we discuss who was the Babushka Lady.
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well.
Yeah. What the hell, Tony? What you gonna do, eh?
Come on, let's keep up tradition. Come on. Say in an upbeat tone, say hi to our audience. Come on.
That's not traditional at all. Hello, audience. All right, let's crack on.
At least you've done it. Yay. Anyway, today we have another of our popular Dynamite Conspiracy episodes. And today the topic is, who was the Babushka Lady? Now, Tayo, do you want to elaborate to our audience who the heck this person is? Because some of them may not have a clue as to who this is.
I wouldn't blame them. Until quite recently, I didn't know who she was either. The audience might not, well, I don't suppose they would know. There's no way they'd know that this is our second attempt at this topic. Well, it's slightly different now. Originally, we did talk about the JFK assassination, but Tony forgot to press the record button or something. So we did a full show. And then a few minutes after the show, I got a frantic call from Tony asking a ridiculous question. Did you record the... No, I never record the blooming show. Why would I record? Anyway, long story short, we didn't record the show.
It was an hour of our best material.
And I think it was pretty good material, to be honest. It was pretty good. During that show, the JFK assassination, I did mention this fascinating image. I mean, an alleged woman. That's why I was humming, because I hesitate to say it's a woman. I don't think there's any proof that it was a woman, but someone dressed as a woman, supposedly a woman, was acting in a very strange way in these pictures. And it wasn't until we were recording and I was looking at these pictures that I said to Tony, I said, do you know this woman in this picture, she's acting in a really strange sort of way. She's not acting like other people. And lo and behold, others had noticed that same anomaly. And because she was wearing a headscarf, the press apparently had called her the Babushka Lady, because in Russian, Babushka means old woman.
Or grandma.
And grandma.
Yeah.
And babushkas in Russia traditionally wear headscarves. So this woman looked like a Russian grandma, a babushka. And that's why she's called the Babushka Lady. So this time, when we're coming back to what is basically the JFK assassination, we're doing it with a slightly different vantage point of trying to figure out who this Babushka woman was, Babushka Lady. Who was she, and why was she acting that way? And as we go through the show, you'll discover why.
It was strange.
It's strange. Her demeanor was odd.
Yeah.
And for those of you who can, I've got 7 or 8 pictures that I think you really ought to look at. Which
we'll
I'll
share them with the blurb at the end of the show, won't we? So people can see them, hopefully.
And if not, they're definitely our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Facebook for www.facebook.com/the. You have to put it in, I'm afraid. The TNT Talk Show.
Yep. No spaces.
No spaces.
No. And then you'll be able to see the pictures if we can't actually share it on the blurb of whichever platform you consume our show on, because some platforms will allow it, others will not. So if you want the pictures, then yes, go back to our Facebook page where you should find them. But just for the benefit of our younger listeners out there, wondering, what are they on about? Who's
Hmm.
JFK? What's this?
Whoa.
What's that? Because there's some, I dare say, some of our younger audience out there may not even know who JFK is.
It'd be horrifying if they don't know. I
Well,
mean,
they may
he's
not
famous
know.
because he's a famous president of America, an American president, because he was assassinated.
Yeah.
If he had just gone through, if he had just been a president, we probably wouldn't remember him. I mean, he did do some
Well,
famous things. He
yeah.
did have quite a in the short time that he was president. I think it was only 3 years, wasn't it?
Two, I think it was only two and a bit. Yeah. Well, didn't even make the third year, I don't think.
Okay. Wasn't it 1963 when the assassination took
It
place?
was 63 when he was shot. Yeah.
He became president in 1960. So
Oh, okay. Not a full. Well, okay, maybe then a bit longer then. Okay.
yes. So he had quite a hand in the civil rights movement,
Yes.
and because he was pro emancipate pro not emancipation because the slaves were already
Yeah, yeah,
emancipated.
yeah.
Pro what was it they were fighting for? Equality.
Equality. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because he was pro equality between the races, it was suggested that he was assassinated for that very reason. That some people
Yeah.
didn't like how he was helping black people and the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
So there was that. But at the same time, he was also sort of anti-war. He was an anti-war president, and some people thought that the MIC, the military-industrial complex, had something to do with assassination. Others feel that his father, President Kennedy's father, who was a pretty swashbuckling sort of lad, if you want to use
Well,
that expression.
so was John F. Kennedy. He was quite a good-looking president.
No, I don't mean that in a good
No,
way.
but okay. Oh, okay.
I'm using it as a euphemism for a bit of a lout and a crook.
Oh, okay.
He knew a lot of people on the wrong side of the tracks, specifically the mafia, and he approached them to help him get his son elected president with promises that they'd be looked after once the son was the president. And apparently JFK didn't look after the
No.
mafia. So there are suggestions that the mafia had something to do with it. And lastly, but in no means least, was the CIA that felt he betrayed the CIA in the Bay of Pigs. Not a scandal, wasn't it a scandal? It was just an
Incident.
incident, well, a mess up, wasn't it? A
Yeah.
foul up
Yeah.
of a great proportion. They felt that he had let the side down. So maybe the CIA had a
Were
hand in it.
probably involved, or maybe a combination of them
Well,
all.
this is it, you see. So let's put it this way: a lot of very powerful people weren't unhappy to see him die. They were not unhappy at all. And which one of them, or as Tony has said, which combination of them came together to actually do something? I think do something about it is debatable. We still don't know. And of course, what is this? 61 years later, is it? How many years later now?
It's yeah, over.
61 years later, there are still redacted parts of the investigation. And you think, well, 60 years later, what on earth are they hiding? And it's a very good question. We don't know what they're hiding, but they're hiding something.
Indeed.
That's that. I mean, when I say they, I mean the American government.
Mm.
The American government knows something that it doesn't want us to know because we can't handle the truth. Oh, which is obviously nonsensical.
Yeah.
And
Now,
just before I hand over the microphone to you, I already found out, not just before we agreed to do this topic, I just found out that if you were to visit the famous bookstore, which is the building from which Lee Harvey Oswald was said to have fired the fatal shots that killed President Kennedy.
was it a dormitory though, or something, rather than a bookstore? Maybe I don't know. From
Uh,
memory, I thought it was a bookstore or dormitory or
a
something.
bookstore.
Oh, okay.
but I don't think it was in full use as a bookstore.
Okay.
So you can go there as a tourist. That's fine. You know, it's good of the Americans to have left that open for it as a tourist attraction. However, you can't actually approach the window from which Lee Harvey Oswald was said to have fired the fatal shots. There's a barricade. You can look at the window, but you can't approach it. And many wags on the internet suggest that it's because if you did approach the window, you take one look at it and go, there is no way anybody shot anyone from here and killed them. So it's just stark evidence that I'm very sorry. You can't pop off a couple of shots from this vantage point, looking at where President Kennedy was hit. It's a no-show. So that's why you're not allowed to approach the window. Now, whether that is true or false, I have no idea. But I can't think of a good reason why you can't approach the window.
It's a strange one, isn't it? I have to say, and it
Mm.
is odd. And there are arguments pro and against the official narrative that came out from the government, because obviously they did an inquiry about whether Lee Harvey Oswald worked alone or was he aided in some way. But in a nutshell, what happened? John F. Kennedy was the president, was in an open top car with his wife and plus the governor, I believe, of Dallas, Texas. Yeah, Texas governor in the car as well, who also got shot. And they say it was the same bullet that killed Kennedy, although in the end they're disputing if it was one bullet or three. So that still hasn't been accurately.
It's one magic bullet that did a U-turn, apparently. Remember?
Yeah, it's a magic bullet that
if
somehow.
If you accept the one bullet hypothesis, then to account for all the injuries, you would have to accept that the bullet did a U-turn in the air and hit the president at a different angle. That's why it's called the magic bullet, because bullets don't normally act like that. But there's some people who take the stand, swear an oath, and use their so-called expertise to explain that, well, bullets sometimes do strange things.
Indeed. Moving in the air, I didn't think was one of them, but okay.
Well, there we go,
So the reason why there's some arguments about whether there was one bullet or three was what you've rightly said about the trajectory of where Lee Harvey Oswald, who was blamed for the murder, was positioned in that window. Because he was found with a weapon, but not in the building. So they've said that the bullet that was captured from the president's body, I think one was officially captured, matched the gun, the rifle that he used. But where the problem lies is that the gun that he used, he would have had to take 3 shots in really quick succession, which the gun could not do. In the time frame that the bullet was heard, in the space in time that the car was still there. Because obviously when the car was hit, the security service started to drive off at full pelt. And apparently that one shot that some people say killed the president also injured the governor in the front seat of the car. It couldn't have physically done the damage that, as Ty has already alluded to, it was just physically impossible. And that's why it was called the magic bullet, that it somehow turned. Whereas other people are saying, hold on, he didn't fire one shot. There was 3 shots fired because of the trajectory of the holes on the president and the damage that was done to both their bodies. So in that case, if it was 3 shots, how did Lee Harvey Oswald, from that window vantage point, shoot off 3 shots and all of them hit a target, of which when the first shot went, the target moved away at speed? So how did he manage to reload, because it wasn't an automatic weapon, to fire off 3 shots? And hence the conspiracy that's arisen as it couldn't have just been him. There
See,
must have been somebody else.
the thing is, he was an army trained sharpshooter.
He wasn't a great army shooter, though. He was
But we have his
bang
records.
average.
We have
Yes.
his records, and he wasn't that good.
No. Bang
And
average as far as
what
they
the
said.
FBI did, which was sensible, of course, was to bring other sharpshooters and to get them to attempt to recreate 3 shots hitting those targets. And here's the thing: the best of the best couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. Exactly.
So straight away, it's either Lee Harvey, pumped up with adrenaline, went above and beyond anything he's ever done and beyond what anyone else could ever do. It's either that or Occam's razor. The more reasonable assumption is, you know what? He wasn't acting alone. And that brings us, in my opinion, quite neatly to a picture.
Which one? The Babushka Lady picture?
Not even quite the Babushka Lady, which amazingly, okay, where is it now? Excellent. Well, I'll find it and I'll post it. As the first shot rings out and people hear the shot, there's a picture where people are not turned to the right as the president is traveling forward towards the left. So in your head, just imagine the car is traveling to your left, wherever you are.
So from right to left.
A car is traveling from right to left.
Okay.
The shot came from the right and high from the right. That's where the shot was taken from. If you agree that it was Lee Harvey Oswald that took the shot. So that's where the shot came from. So people should have been looking up and to their right,
where they saw or heard the shot from,
where they would have heard the shot coming from.
Yeah.
However, people are actually looking to the right a bit, but more level at what they call the grassy knoll.
Yes.
And this is where, for those people who are familiar with the conspiracy theory, this is where the grassy knoll starts coming into it, because instinctively people looked in that direction. And then someone, I believe, now I'm not really sure about this, but I believe I've read this, someone pointed up and to the right, pointing towards the bookstore. And that someone, as I understand it, has never been identified. Now, if you believe that, what that means is that people's attention was directed away from the grassy knoll to where people wanted attention. The conspirators would have wanted their attention placed.
Yeah.
So there's just that. That's just, that's one of those things that you can't find the guy who pointed, but people stopped looking towards the grassy knoll and they started looking towards the right and up. And then everything proceeded from there.
The
However,
knoll, just to describe it to our listeners, was literally opposite from where the car was actually traveling. It was just over the other side. So you're looking at, if I'm right now, we've said the picture where the car's coming right to left, the grassy knoll in relation to the
directly
building,
opposite.
directly opposite.
Yeah.
So it's lower down and level almost with the car, as opposed to where the bullets were supposed to have been fired, which was high up, as Tayo said, high up to the right, behind the president.
And if you think about the head movements, if you look at the rather
graphic video,
graphic. If you've got a weak stomach, maybe you shouldn't, but grew up in Nigeria, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. If you look at it, there's a shot where his head rocks back.
Yeah.
And that shot, and that's what people are saying. So the medical people were asked to explain it. So if it's just the one bullet, what's all this head rocking back thing? And they said, oh, that's a reflex reaction that happens when you're shot in some part of your brain, and just some long story, which you believe it or you don't believe it. But if you believe there was a shooter on the grassy knoll, that is the direction from which the bullet would have been coming and would have accounted more easily than any sort of weird automatic reaction or nervous reaction to being shot from behind.
Yeah.
So there is that. On the other hand, not many of us have shot people from behind, so we don't know. We have to take sometimes we have to take the word of so-called experts. However, let's get back to this
Subject.
subject of
The
the
Babushka Lady. She wasn't on the grassy knoll. She was over the other side.
no, but that's interesting.
Mm.
Why can't I pick up the picture? Oh, okay. What is it? 1 4. Good Lord.
Okay. Whilst
Uh,
you're looking for that,
no,
let me
I've got it.
Oh,
I
you've
just
got
wanted to
it.
pick it up
Okay.
and send it to you. Oh, I can do this. I'm still learning my Obsidian, by the way.
Okay.
So I can pick it up.
Just for the benefit of our listeners out
Who are
there,
wondering what I was
Obsidian
talking about now.
is a new product, a free product that Tayo's discovered that he loves. It's allowed him to organize his thoughts and his research for the shows. He loves it. He loves it. So he's promoting it heavily. There you go. But he's still getting used to it. He's still learning it.
Yes, and here is the picture that I want you to
Share with our audience.
well, first of all, have a look at it and see for yourself.
Are you sharing it on here, or are you sharing it on WhatsApp?
I'm sorry, I'm sharing it on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
And it's not looking very good.
Okay. Well, we'll share it to our audience anyway once we get it. But
Can you see it?
No, I can't see anything at the moment. You've not sent me anything as far as I'm aware. But just going back to
very good. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. I had to open it up in System Explorer. And there we are. Aha. Now, as you can see it now. There we are. So now there you see this is one of the famous pictures of the Babushka Lady.
Yes.
And the way she's standing with legs akimbo.
Yeah, not very ladylike.
Not very ladylike at all, which is what made me think of this is why I didn't want to say it's definitely a female, because that stance is not ladylike at all. That is and she's got her head up. Apparently, it's supposed to be a camera.
A camera.
Or something like that. But look at the direction. Now, the president has already been shot in this picture. Can you see that his wife, Jackie Onassis, actually, I don't like to call her Onassis, Jackie Kennedy at that point.
Jackie Kennedy at the time, yeah.
At the time. She is leaning towards the president. She's got her hand up and she's cradling him. So he's been shot.
Yeah.
Now, as carefully as you can, try to estimate what people are looking at. The police officers on the motorcycles, the women and the man to the Babushka Lady's right, they all seem to be looking at the president.
Yes.
But if you try to take the angle of the scarf into account, it's more like the Babushka Lady is looking up towards the grassy knoll.
It's not clear cut on that picture,
but
not
yes,
clear. Yes, it does look a little bit.
She's not looking where the others are looking.
She's clearly got something to her face, which
it's supposed to be a camera. Or some people are saying a binocular. Some people are saying it's a camera.
Yeah.
This is 1963.
She's quite close to the cavalcade, so I'd be surprised if she needed binoculars. She's actually in a prime spot and only a few feet from the road. So why would you need binoculars? I don't see it as being binoculars. So if she had anything, would it, was it a camera?
Well, this is it. There's an argument. A lot of people say it's a camera, but other people say no, it was binoculars. Well, no, I don't know why they say binoculars other than camera, but
I think it's because cameras weren't necessarily prevalent in them days.
Not in those days, no.
Yeah. Now I'm going to throw something in the mix here.
In
1970, so obviously a number of years after, a woman named Beverly Oliver
Beverly
came forward and said that she was the Babushka Lady. So she
Well, we
came
can get to
forward.
that. We can get to that a bit later. There's
Okay. You still
still a
want to
few more
keep a.
mysteries.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
a few more mysteries. Anyway, because before we said, okay, yes, so there was a woman. She had a headscarf. She had this more masculine stance. But is that it? Is that it, Tayo? Is that it? That's your big babushka lady. Nah, hold on. Okay. When we look at where she was standing, like you've just said, Tony, actually it was very good of you to put it like that. She had a very clear view of the cavalcade.
Mm.
But it
No
has been
obstruction at all.
no obstruction at all. But it has been noticed that she was she could have had an even better view if she was there to see the president. But actually, she was standing behind this gentleman on the right. And there's a picture that makes it clearer, which I will also share with you.
Yeah, it's true. If you've got prime view of the president and you've got a camera in your hand,
Yep,
you're going to get as close as possible to get
yep.
footage of the passing car. So why, without any obstruction, would you stand about 8 or 10 feet away from the where the road is? That seems strange
Precisely, precisely.
because there are other people clearly looking at the president and they are on the edge of the grass
That's
where
right.
the road is.
Out
So
in the open.
they're wanting to see the president come past. With no obstruction, she is about 8 or 10 feet from the edge. So clearly not right at the edge of the road. Maybe we could say that she was fearful of the road. I don't know. But if you're taking a picture with a camera or whatever it was, you would be closer, surely. That seems to throw a little bit of a strange one in the mix.
So here's a wonderful picture. I didn't even know it existed. I'm really happy that I came across it in a conspiracy on a in on a
How can
conspiracy
we share
website.
these pictures? They'll have to be on our Facebook page.
Well, they're
I don't,
definitely going because I've
yeah,
got them. They're
because we
definitely
can't,
going onto our
yeah,
Facebook page.
we
But
can't share them on our blurb, unfortunately. But what I will do actually in our blurb, I will reference our Facebook page so
you're
people
right.
can then go
Just
back.
maybe the URLs.
Yeah, of our
So
Facebook
here
page.
is a look at that image. I didn't even know it existed. There's the Babushka lady. Did you know this? Have you ever seen this picture before?
I've never seen this
I'd
picture.
never seen this picture before. It was
So
news
it
to me.
is a lady then.
It well, she's wearing sunglasses. No one else is, by the way. Did you notice?
Oh yeah, that's true.
She's wearing a headscarf for some funny reason. There was no rain that day, so why? Mrs. Kennedy, Jackie Onassis, she wasn't in a headscarf or anything. There was no top on the car, so rain was not expected. She's wearing a raincoat and a headscarf and sunglasses.
What is that in her pocket?
Well, we're not sure. You can blow it up if you like, but we can't tell. Could have been a strap for something or whatever. But look at where she's standing again. She could have chosen a better position if she'd wanted to. This is what we're saying. But she's
Yeah.
actually standing behind people. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that's unlike the first picture I shared where they have two ladies. They're out in the open.
they are.
They wanted to see the president. They wanted to see, so they could put themselves in a position where they could see the president directly.
This is a
She,
strange picture. I tell you why. Because the second picture is just for the benefit of our audience who are listening to our podcast, obviously not seeing this
mm,
yet. Please, we do encourage you to look at the blurb once you're downloading the show for this picture, because it's a black and white picture, and this time you're clearly seeing the president and his wife in the car,
mhm.
and you're seeing behind the president's car. Now, I'm not sure whether this is the same picture because there are quite a number of people at the side of the road this time. So she is slightly further back, if indeed it is the same woman. But
Uh,
if you think I have doubts that this is the same picture. I'll tell you
But it's
why.
not the same picture. It's not the same picture. It's a different. No one is saying
No,
the same
different
picture.
picture. No, but from a different angle. I'm not convinced because if you think about it,
What?
look at this cavalcade. Look at this cavalcade.
Hmm.
You are looking at the car. The car is moving to the left.
Yes.
Okay. So she's on the back side of the picture. So if the car's moving to the left, you can actually see her behind the president's car. And the president is alive and well.
Yeah.
But in the picture where the president was actually shot, she's now in the forefront of the picture looking at the
No, no,
car.
no, no. But picture was this. The second picture was taken from more or less the grassy knoll sort of side.
No, yeah, but the car is facing the same direction. Do you see what I mean? It can't be the same woman.
Sorry, no, no, no. Don't get yourself into knots. I don't know what you're trying to say,
Right, okay.
but
Let me
in
explain.
in the second picture,
Yeah?
the camera is opposite the woman. Obviously, that's why you can see her face.
Yeah.
Okay,
But do you
so
not
the camera.
understand? Do you not understand? In to her, this woman, right? Let's take it from her point of view, right? The first picture where the president is fine,
Hmm.
she is looking
What
at the
second
car
picture?
and it's the car's traveling right to left.
Right to
Yeah?
left. Yes.
Right to left from her
Mm.
point of view.
Yeah.
But when you look at the other picture where the president shot, the car is traveling from her
Right.
point of view.
Right to left.
Hold
Look at
on.
her right shoulder. It's not a problem, Tony.
No, it is a problem. It's
No, no,
still
no, no, no.
wrong.
What? Her left arm is up to her face, not her right arm. Her left arm is up to her face.
Yeah.
All right. So the car is moving towards her left.
Right. Okay. Unless the picture's been flipped.
That picture hasn't been flipped. It's flipped in your mind. It happens. I'm not trying to be funny. It does happen. It's flipped in your mind. There's no problem. There is no. There's nothing here. The car is still traveling in the same direction from right to left. She is standing facing the car from the back.
Yeah.
It's still a right to left movement.
But in the other picture, she's on the other side of the road.
No, 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 no. She's not.
She
I
is.
don't. No, 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 no. She's not because otherwise you'd see the grassy knoll and things behind her. No, that's not it at all. She's where she's supposed to be. There's no issue here.
I'm not, well, I'll let our listeners have a look at that.
It's
Have
not a
I
question of
mind
that. It's
gone
just,
mad?
well, it's not that. It's just that it's flipped in your head. It's happened to me before, and my daughter simultaneously. We were looking at a car. We had a car
No,
at the time.
she's, if you think, right, the same, right, okay, let's look at it from the president and his wife's point of view,
Oh
right?
my God, no, I don't want to do that. No, no, I'm already. You're already losing the plot here. Look, if you look at if you look at you see where you see where that thing is in her pocket.
Yeah.
That's her left side.
Yes, agreed. But
Okay.
the car's the same way round. It shouldn't be the same way round.
No, if it wasn't the same way round, the car would be going towards her left. The what am I trying to say? The oh, hang on.
Yeah. You see? You get it now. It's not the
Yeah,
same.
if it's
It can't be the same woman. That is a different picture. The
okay,
real
hold on.
Babushka Lady isn't that lady we can see in that image. We will share the image and I'll leave it for our listeners and viewers to make a point. But it's not the same woman. Someone has released this to say, oh, it is a woman. That's her. It isn't. It
Flip
isn't. They're
horizontal.
throwing us off the scent.
It's okay. It's okay, Tony. I've got a little tool here. I've got a
Send
little.
me a compass.
I've got a little tool.
Okay.
I'm going to save it as. I'm going to save it with a funny name. I'm going to save it with a to unconfuse Tony. To unconfuse Tony. And where is it now? To
Okay.
because I moved the blooming thing.
I'll put a challenge out to our listeners and audience.
No, when you see this in a second, you're going to start laughing.
Okay. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. That picture isn't her. So because for our listeners out there, who do you agree with? Do you agree with Ty or do you agree with Tony? Is the picture...
No, what's the point of asking the audience? Why do you think I never say hello to the audience? Of course they're going to agree with you. They always agree with you on everything. So that's a waste of time.
No, because the picture, look, I'm still not getting, you're not getting it right.
I understand what you're saying. Actually, you unfortunately were right in this case, but if you look at this now, you will see why I'm just laughing. Laughing with you, not laughing at you. Don't worry. It's this.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same Babushka Lady. I think
That's all right. Here we go. Okay. Aha. Have you got the new one? No.
No.
It's okay. I just love the way the audience is probably just sitting there thinking, these guys do this every flipping week.
That shows it's live, it's genuine, it's not fabricated. We talk about it as we go, and we
there we are. There you go. Does that make you happy now?
Someone's flipped the software, and you just flipped the picture.
I just flipped the picture.
Yeah, but that's not right, is it? It's still not right.
Why is it not right now?
Because
how right now?
You flipped it. You flipped the picture, right?
Well, maybe the first one was flipped. So definitely the first one was flipped.
No, but you're not getting it. Okay, let me ask you a question very simply. Okay. From the first picture where she's standing in her male pose with her legs quite wide stance, which doesn't look very feminine. Okay. What side?
There's a word for it, you know.
Okay.
Akimbo.
Oh, is it? Okay. What side of the car is she facing? Is it driver side or passenger side?
Okay, give me a sec because she is on the passenger side. She's on Mrs. Kennedy's side.
On NASA's side. Okay. So the picture with the circle around it that shows her face, whose side is she on now?
The president's side.
There you go. That's not the same picture. Because if it was the same picture...
That's interesting.
Yeah. If it was the same picture...
Oh, spotted.
Yeah.
And there's a problem there.
Yeah, indeed. Because it's not the same picture.
Because I've seen the so-called Zabruder video. And on NASA's Kennedy, Jackie
Kennedy, yeah.
Is she alive or dead? She didn't...
She's passed away now, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the one thing she didn't do was hop and switch. Did she? I know she tried to climb out, and then she was pushed back in.
She climbed at the back of the car
to climb out
to pick up a bit of his brain, would you believe, that landed in the back of the car. Now, if a bullet had been fired from behind the president, the splatter would have gone out the front, not at the back. But she was visibly shown to be on the back of the car, literally picking up a bit of his brain, because she was
a bit graphic.
It was. I know it's a bit graphic. I apologize, because she had her hands cupped together when they took the president into the hospital, because he was still alive, and one of the
alive-ish.
Well, yeah, he was still breathing, and she was holding her hand in total shock in a clenched sort of format, and it was only when she just presented it to one of the doctors, and the doctors was like, "What are you doing?" But she was clearly in absolute shock that she picked up a piece of her husband's brain. Apologies to our listeners here for the graphic nature of this, because she was just didn't know what to do. And that's a clear image. So yeah, she didn't move seats. She tried to do this to try and, I don't know, fix her husband somehow. But that was just purely the whole shock of the
instinct. Yeah, it's just instinct.
Awful situation. So yeah, that second picture that you shared, which I'd never seen before, I do not believe that is the same woman.
No, I think I think that's an excellent catch. I'm not going to be able to provide this picture now, because there are issues with it.
It's good though to put it in, because our listeners and watchers will be keen to see what we were talking about. So I think we should include it.
Yeah. Both
yeah.
flips.
Both flips. Like. Yeah. Just so that it would be, hold on a minute. Which one are we talking about here? The colored one, the colored photo is the one of the actual from the Zabu. I can
Oh,
never
I
get
have
his
more.
names right.
Zabruda.
Zabruda video, and it was a 8 minute silent film
Mm-hmm.
recorded by a chap called Zabruda, and it became famous because he filmed the whole incident. And the Babushka Lady, who we're talking about in this show, she was captured on that film. But the subsequent picture that Tayo shared must have been of a different woman earlier on in the route, because the president and Jackie Kennedy can be seen both
The
perfectly
wrong
fit and
way.
healthy, and the wrong way, obviously.
From our point of view
Yeah,
of our interest in the Babushka Lady.
indeed.
Well, anyway, she is seen later crossing. This is after the aftermath. Well,
Yeah.
before we do that, why we keep saying that she didn't behave like everyone else. Here is the first piece of evidence, 637.
Well, let's ask our audience. Let's typically, if you hear a gunshot and firing, what's the first thing you do?
Hit the ground.
You'd hit the ground. She was the only one that didn't move. She just
She
continued to have this photo
calmly,
or camera calm without falling down. And we'll share that. Everyone's
there you
gone to
are,
the ground, and this clear picture shows her standing there immobile.
immobile.
Yeah, just standing and looking, and the cavalcade's gone. Everyone's down on the ground apart from
Mhm.
her.
Yep.
And she then calmly walked across the road over in the grassy knoll, which raised up and then disappeared.
So
And
in this picture that I've just shared with you, can you see it?
yeah, yeah.
That's the picture that shows that she's just calmly standing there, and everybody
Mm,
else is crouching. And obviously, the police officers are excited and they're moving around, but that's their job, really.
yeah,
But the ordinary, what would you call them, bystanders,
yeah.
they had hit the ground, man.
The others had scarpered, run away, but
Yep.
she's just there, standing firm and tall as per normal. So that's odd in itself.
That's what drew everyone's attention to her. It's like, why did she remain? Well, that's one of the things that drew attention to her. Of course, the other thing that has drawn attention to her before you get to this woman in 1970 is that she just disappeared.
Yeah,
As you know, we'll get to this woman that came forward and said, I am the Babushka lady.
yeah.
We'll get to her in a second, but before that, still a couple more pictures, I think, which is of this one where she's crossing the road now, and this is 057, picture 057. 057. This one, Tony,
Yeah.
where she's crossing the road, and most of the people crossing the road are looking around the. Oh, I haven't sent it. I didn't press send. Most of the people looking around. Sorry, most of the people crossing the road. They're 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 looking around. They're just crossing normally, but she's got her head down.
Mm.
She's not looking around. She's got her head down.
Is this definitely her now? Because this now
Well, the
looks like
same
a
same.
female.
Yeah, this is the same color of the coat. Can you see from the
Hmm.
one above? It's the same beige. Is that you call that beige? Beige colored.
Yeah, it's a beigey
It's a
colored coat.
beigey,
Yeah.
yeah, color
And the
coat.
headscarf is now not around her head this time.
No, it's more.
I think it could be her. Yeah, I think you're right. But we still don't know her identity, or so
You
we
see,
think.
the headscarf has gone back a bit. It's not
Yeah.
all the way down, but it's gone back a bit, and she does look older here.
Yeah.
And this has got an impact on the claim of this person. What's the person's name? I got it here somewhere.
Beverly
Beverly
Oliver.
Oliver. I've got yes, Beverly Oliver. But there's one last picture I'd like to show, which is of an even more. It's a wider view. 518. It's picture 518. 518. Where's 518? And here we go. And I want to know what you actually think about this. You tell me
Okay.
what you think. So, oh, come
I
on.
will, like I said, if you share these, I think you do share on the Facebook,
Hmm.
you share the pictures on there when the show goes out, then we can
Look at
ask
that.
our
That's
audience.
a wide view of the entire scene.
Yeah. And you can see she's just standing there. Everyone is running around. Everybody is either on the ground or police officers are running, but she is just standing there, just observing the whole thing,
You
not
know what caught
moving.
my view in this? Do you know what caught my attention
Go
in
on.
this picture? If you look across at the grassy knoll,
Yeah.
can you see something that the two individuals lying there,
Yeah.
they're not facing the road.
No.
They're facing up towards the grassy knoll because if you instinctively, if you fall to the ground, you want to keep an eye out on the shooter in
Yeah.
case. So you look towards the shooter.
Shooter. Yeah. You don't lie the other way round, do you?
You don't lie the other way around,
No.
and they're lying facing up towards the grassy knoll.
Which is very, very peculiar. I
The
mean,
gentleman in the foreground, in the foreground here, is looking towards the grassy knoll.
yeah.
Our Babushka Lady
Everybody.
is looking. In fact, everybody apart from the police officers,
Yeah.
the one off that isn't on his motorcycle, everybody else is looking towards the grassy knoll.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure about this Lee Harvey Oswald story, to be honest.
No, I have my doubts. I still believe that there's something amiss there for sure. It doesn't make sense with the bullets. Even today, we still haven't got the answer. And just for our listeners and viewers who may not know the full story of this, Lee Harvey Oswald was accused of shooting the president, but he didn't even get to trial because he was then killed in
Mm,
custody
mm,
by a nightclub owner called Jack Ruby,
mm-hmm.
who gave a reason that he didn't want Jackie Kennedy to have to go to trial and go through all the pain of the testimony and everything that happened to
Yeah, mighty white of
F.
him.
Kennedy. It was, oh, sorry.
Mighty white of him. You know that expression, mighty white of you?
No.
I use it sarcastically. It's an Americanism. Mighty white of you, very good of you. It's mighty white of you.
Ah, I see. I see.
I use it, but for a an associate of the mafia and
Yeah, who Jack
someone
Ruby
who ran
was.
ran a seedy nightclub, that's mighty white of him as well. In other
Indeed.
words, I don't believe him
No.
for for a second. And we'll come to that, but there's one
He
final.
died in he died in prison of illness because
Yes, he died shortly after he was visited by someone, and he died in a way that leads to more conspiracy theory because it looked like he was poisoned.
yeah. So you don't
This
see.
is
But the thing is, he was dying of cancer anyway, so he had nothing to lose. Rumor has it, conspiracy has it, that he volunteered to do it for the mafia to silence Lee Harvey Oswald because Lee Harvey Oswald probably did shoot the president, but only with the one shot,
Mhm.
and others carried out the actual killing. So there were three shots in all, but not fired all by Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald was being stitched up as the sole killer.
Mhm.
Then Jack Ruby was put in to silence the witness, so to speak, who was Lee Harvey Oswald, because he was willing to squeal because he felt he was being set up as a patsy. And Kirby did it because he had terminal cancer anyway. And if his
Ruby,
family were
oh,
looked
Ruby,
after, Ruby,
Ruby.
sorry, was he had terminal cancer anyway. So if he knew that his family would be looked after, he would do this deed because he knew his days were numbered anyway. So he didn't care, and hence he shot Lee Harvey Oswald. And yeah, that picture's a bit strange because it doesn't show the heads of Lee Harvey Oswald who's got shot, but that's Jack Ruby. Unless there's a better picture that you can share, Tayo, because that's just a Jack Ruby with a gun, but who's he aiming it at? You can't see the people's heads for some
Right.
reason.
Okay.
But
Well, anyway, I wanted to bring up this issue that when the guards jumped on him, this is the Harvey Oswald. When the security people jumped on him and he was on the ground, he is reputed to have said, "What's going on?" He started asking, what's going on?" And someone said it's as if he came to. Now, that's not easy to. That information is not actually easy to find, but here is possibly just more conspiracy. Here's a link I'd like you to share, which is linking a CIA program called the MK Ultra program, which is a mind control program.
so you're saying that he was
Mind control.
somehow not colluded. He was somehow unaware that he'd carried this out because he was under mind control from the CIA.
That
This
is the
is a
conspiracy.
this is a conspiracy and a conspiracy now.
It
So
is. It is a conspiracy and a conspiracy. And getting back to this Beverly woman.
let's just talk about who she is first. I mean,
Okay, you go ahead.
okay.
You brought up.
What happened in 1970? A woman came forward called Beverly Oliver, and she said that she was the Babushka Lady, and she made claims that she filmed the whole thing. That's why she was there with the camera. The problem was she said she was using a Super 8 film Yashica camera, of which subsequently it was shown that she was talking nonsense because that camera hadn't been invented for another 6 years after the actual assassination. So she couldn't have been holding that particular model. And so she backtracked and said, "Oh no, it was a special camera, experimental one that I was given," which sounds a bit
Yeah.
wishy-washy. And also, I think Taya was going to explain, because as we see some of the pictures of the Babushka Lady, if you can make outlines of her face, she's quite old. She's certainly not young. And the thing that gazumps Beverly Oliver's claim, saying that she was the Babushka Lady, was at the time of the assassination, she would have been 17
She was only 17 and slender
and slender, which is not what the Babushka Lady
and
looks
tall.
like. Yeah.
No,
She's
and not the
squat,
short older woman.
shot older woman with a male features and stance. So definitely not this Beverly Oliver. So that can pretty much be dismissed as someone looking for claim to fame, really.
Claim to fame.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, it's always muddy the water.
They
And it's
do.
not good.
They do.
And then there's this interesting question of a gentleman who acted in a very mysterious way. And that is picture number 0001301.
Is this the Umbrella Man?
This is the Umbrella Man.
Mm.
Would you like to tell the audience who's the Umbrella Man?
Well, I mean, you can do this one.
Because, like,
We'll share a picture of him as well when you see, but you'll look. It's quite strange.
We've already said that it wasn't raining.
No, Dallas, warm day.
It was, warmish, I think. And here's a picture.
We'll
Here's a
share.
picture.
He's clearly got his umbrella up in the sunshine.
In the sunshine, just as the president is driving past, which makes some people ask the crucial question, was that a signal? Was that a go signal for someone? Was that operation is on? Let's do this thing. Why did he raise his umbrella?
Ridiculous. There was too many weirdy effects that were happening. I mean, the Umbrella Man hasn't been discovered who this guy is. You could have said, "Come forward, clear your name," but nope. He just hasn't appeared. He's just as elusive as the Babushka Lady. Why, if these people are perfectly innocent, do they not come forward? Okay, let's put crackpots aside, like Beverly Olivia, because her story was just riddled with holes, so we knew it wasn't her. But if the real people were there at the time, why did they not come forward? Why did they not Say,
Good
oh no, it
question.
was me. I was innocent. I was just this, and this is why I responded. Everybody seems strange in the way that they acted.
Yeah, nobody acted in a rational way, which is a great conspiracy.
It is indeed. It is indeed. I mean, this umbrella man, yeah, it's so strange because why would you open an umbrella where you can see other people? Some people in just light jackets, some just in shirts. A couple of the ladies were in a jacket, but still not heavy jacket, light
No.
jacket. But certainly no one there with an umbrella or open it up. Now,
Yes.
some could argue, hold on, there are people out there who are super sensitive to the sun. So,
He
but
wasn't holding it like that, though.
no, he was holding it like it was raining, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was high up above his head in a normal pose that you'd hold up to if there's rain, nothing
Yep.
to do with the sun, because you'd cover yourself up, you'd use sunscreen, you'd maybe put, tighter clothing. That's not what he had. He had an umbrella up and he looked really odd. So I think I'm with you there. It does appear to be some sort of signal to someone. Oh, look, take the shot now. It could be because that was literally when the shot was taken, when
Exactly.
he was there. So
So
a
everyone's
bit
in
too
place.
coincidental,
He
indeed.
knows who's supposed to be in place. He's looked around. Everyone's in place. The cavalcade is moving in. There's a reason why people think it was an inside job, CIA or government, because presidents don't travel around in open top vehicles on a route where they are forced to slow down.
Mm.
They do travel around in open top vehicles sometimes, not often, but not on a route where they're forced to slow down. And apparently, this bookstore was on a corner. So the cavalcade had to slow down and turn left, I believe, uh, past the bookstore and then down past the grassy no. And security people who are looking at this say, well, there we are. No, it's the Secret Service has the training to know better than to do that. If you're going to have a president in an open top vehicle, he will be whizzing past. It's not going,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be people that, you're not going to be able to stop if he has to go underneath an underpass or something. You're not, there's going to be nobody allowed to stand there because that's
No.
a good that's a good place to take a pot shot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
they know all these things. So how come this time was going nice and slowly, and everybody had time to do what they needed
Indeed,
to.
it was just put up as a
So
target, wasn't he?
it was put up as a target. It was an inside
Yeah,
job.
I'm of that opinion. I think that there were disgruntled people in positions of power. You know, JFK had
Ruffled enough
somehow,
paper,
yeah,
feathers.
quite a few feathers, and they thought, no, this cannot continue. Let's let's bump him off. And so even today, 60 odd years
Hmm.
later, we still haven't got a definitive answer. We've got these claims, these counterclaims, these conspiracy reports, and there's still no definite answer. I mean, there was a commission that was set up to look into the shooting, and it was named the Warren Commission.
Yeah.
But what was really silly about the Warren Commission was that they had the power by the new president, who was Johnson, who was sworn in after Kennedy was shot, because you can't have the country, rudderless, so to speak. There has to be a president in
Yep.
position.
That was Johnson.
Yeah, so Johnson was so he wanted this commission done, and he put it to the Warren Commission to do it, and they had the power to enroll anybody to investigate this thoroughly. And who did they enroll? The FBI and CIA to help them do it. And so the conclusion was that the commission report, the Warren Commission, sorry, found that Oswald was the only party involved.
Surprise shock.
They said that, yes, he was, because he was a marksman, in quotes, he was able to fire 3 shots in rapid succession within 4 seconds. So load, fire, load, fire, load, fire in 4.8 seconds and accurately shoot at the same time. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because the rifle itself takes ages to switch, and even the best marksman, as Ty has already alluded to, couldn't do it. But they concluded that he could, which is interesting. Also, the probability of hitting the president a second and probably a third time with 3 shots after the car was speeding away made it even harder still, but he still managed it.
Well, it was all the adrenaline, you see.
Well,
It's
it's
silly.
just indeed. So even that has been ridiculed as being a sham because you know, they got their own people to actually vet themselves, which is a bit stupid, really. The whole point was supposed to be an independent commission, but in order to save time, they employed the very people who were also under scrutiny, which is crazy.
Are you aware that Jack Ruby had a diagnosis of psychosis after he shot?
No, I didn't know that. That's
Yes,
interesting.
yes. Well, it's in the link that I've sent you already.
Okay.
It's in that link. Are you aware that the doctor who made the diagnosis was a CIA doctor that was working on the MK Ultra project? Are you aware of that?
No, I wasn't aware of that either, which
And
also muddies the water even further.
he had once killed an elephant by prescribing too many psychedelics for the poor creature.
Wow.
Well, the elephant would have been spaced out when he died.
Dear me.
Yeah,
Dear me.
that elephant in all of history that's one hell of a way to go, man. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Okay.
MK Ultra researcher wanted to continue his mind control experiments at the same time he was treating Ruby, and it was
Wow.
after he visited Ruby for the last time that the previously healthy Ruby died very suddenly. Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, I'm mindful we're at the top of the hour here, so do you want to conclude about the Babushka Lady and the Umbrella Man, as we mentioned in two, and the whole JFK assassination? What's your synopsis?
My instinct is that they were both part of the conspiracy. You are incorrect, but I don't want to bring it up now because, well, maybe I should. But you were incorrect in saying that the Umbrella Man had not been identified. I understand that he had
Oh,
been
really?
identified,
He has he? Ah, I
and
was not aware of that.
he gave some nonsense about he gave some rubbish about he was protesting uh, JFK's father's involvement with something that happened in Britain years ago and
What?
had impacted his father, the Umbrella Man's father. So
So what was the point of the umbrella? That
that
still
was a
makes no
protest.
sense.
That was a protest.
What
Well,
nonsense.
exactly. Yeah, I know.
Are you sure this is really him, or is it another person looking for publicity?
I believe it was him. I'll try to find it after. I'll send you the link. That's what
Okay.
I'll look for it.
Okay.
I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't save the link for some funny reason.
Okay. So
But anyhow.
you think that the whole thing is it smells of something rotten?
Yeah, because the Babushka lady never showed up. I mean, it's obviously not this Beverly,
No,
whatever, Beverly Oliver. It's not her.
no. I agree.
And she did take a ton of pictures or whatever it was she had to her face or movie, which would have been very interesting. So why didn't she ever just show up and or send it in, send in what she had seen? But no,
Yeah,
I think there's
nonsense.
something weird there.
Even Beverly Oliver's account was really weak because she said she'd filmed
Yeah,
it on
I
a wrong
think
camera. We can dismiss her
I
because I
think we
think that's
just
nonsense. Yeah, yeah.
nonsense. Yes.
So whoever was the real Babushka lady, why did she not come forward? What was the fear? Why, after all this time? It just seems crazy. But I think the whole thing is set up. I think the president was assassinated not by Lee Harvey Oswald, but as you've already said, by people in power who had a gripe against him. But I don't think we'll ever really know unless, we unearth something, some secret files that the security services have got. But I don't think we will ever know. But
But what is interesting is that no president has ever forced the files to be unredacted, if that's a verb. I'm not sure it is.
Can the
But
presidents do that? I'm not sure they can.
the chief executive, they can issue an executive order and do anything. That's why they're called the most powerful man on the planet. Yeah, they can. What law stops them? This is what we were talking about the other day when I said that Trump's documents are for his eyes. What law is going to stop? There is no law stopping them. It's just.
Well, I'm not sure. They're for his eyes while he's in the building.
Well, he
Rather than
can if he feels that it's good for the for Americans to know. I was about to say American people. I hate that expression. If American people is what is it called, a pleonasm. It's too many words. Americans is the same as American people.
Yeah, I know.
Why do we say the British people? Just say Britons.
I know.
So annoying.
They just do. But that's just a language thing. It's like when they ride a horse in America, we go horse riding. They say horseback riding. They have to say where they're riding. I mean, where else do you ride on a horse?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. But anyway, that's a side issue.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, I mean, we could go on at length here, but we have reached the end of the show for another week.
Right.